At an age when most young men are still learning the art of leadership, one man had already conquered an empire. At just 17 years old, he led an army that would change the course of history. His name was Muhammad bin Qasim, the conqueror of Sindh, a warrior of justice, and a legend whose name still echoes through time. Born in Taif, Arabia in 695 AD, Muhammad bin Qasim was destined for greatness. Raised in a family of warriors and leaders, he was trained under the watchful eyes of his uncle, Al-Hajjaj bin Yusuf, one of the most powerful governors of the Umayyad Caliphate. From a young age, he mastered the art of warfare, governance, and strategy, unaware that his biggest test was yet to come. The conquest of Sindh was not driven by greed, but by justice. In 711 AD, a distress call arrived from Sindh. A group of Muslim traders, including women and children, had been attacked and imprisoned by pirates under the rule of Raja Dahir. Their cries for help reached Al-Hajjaj bin Yusuf, who could not let such an injustice stand. He turned to his commanders and asked who would answer this call for justice. It was the young Muhammad bin Qasim who stepped forward, fearless and determined. With an army of 6,000 Syrian and Iraqi soldiers, 6,000 camels, and a fleet of warships, he set sail towards Sindh, carrying not just weapons, but a vision of fairness and order. Muhammad bin Qasim's first challenge was Debal, a heavily fortified city under Raja Dahir's control. The city's towering temple stood as a symbol of its strength, and its walls seemed impenetrable. But Muhammad bin Qasim, a master of strategy, knew exactly what needed to be done. He ordered his archers to strike the temple's flag. As soon as it fell, the morale of the defenders crumbled. His forces stormed the city, and after days of intense battle, Debal fell. The doors to Sindh were now open, and Muhammad bin Qasim's name became a force to be reckoned with. Unlike most conquerors of his time, he did not rule by force alone. When he reached the city of Narun, the people, having heard of his fair treatment of civilians, surrendered without a fight. He assured them that those who lived in peace would not be harmed. They were free to worship in their temples, trade in their markets, and continue their lives without fear. His approach was clear. He was not just a warrior, but a ruler who won hearts. But his greatest challenge lay ahead, the final confrontation with Raja Dahir himself. The decisive battle took place near the city of Aror. Raja Dahir commanded a vast army, with towering war elephants leading the charge. The battlefield shook with the sound of drums and war cries. But Muhammad bin Qasim, wise beyond his years, devised a brilliant plan. He ordered his forces to target the war elephants first, breaking their chains and sending them into a frenzy. Confusion spread in Raja Dahir's ranks, and soon his forces began to collapse. The battle was fierce, but in the end, Raja Dahir was slain and his army scattered. Sindh was now in the hands of Muhammad bin Qasim. The true test of a conqueror is not just in battle, but in how he governs. Unlike the rulers before him, Muhammad bin Qasim did not impose harsh laws on the people of Sindh. Instead, he introduced a system based on justice. Hindus, Buddhists, and Muslims lived peacefully under his rule. He reduced taxes for farmers, protected temples, and ensured fairness in trade. Even his enemies respected him. The chroniclers of that time wrote, "He ruled not as a conqueror, but as a guardian of the people." Muhammad bin Qasim believed that true strength was not in the sword, but in justice and fairness. He often said, "Nations are not built by swords alone, but by honor and righteousness." His vision of governance was centuries ahead of its time, making him a leader not just in war, but in administration as well. But fate can be cruel. After his glorious victories, political conspiracies led to his downfall. A new caliph took power in the Umayyad Empire, and fearing the growing influence of Muhammad bin Qasim, he ordered his recall. What awaited the young hero was not a hero's welcome, but betrayal. He was falsely accused, imprisoned, and met a tragic end at just 20 years old. Yet, even in death, his legacy remained unshaken. His conquest had opened the doors of Islam in the Indian subcontinent, and his governance had set a new standard for justice and fairness. Even today, Muhammad bin Qasim is remembered as a symbol of bravery, wisdom, and leadership. The great poet Allama Iqbal once said, "The youth should learn from Muhammad bin Qasim, for he was not just a warrior, but a man of vision and wisdom." His story is not just one of war, but of justice, leadership, and a vision that changed history. His life teaches us that success is not just about power, but about fairness and the impact we leave behind. As the saying goes, a leader is remembered not by the battles he fights, but by the justice he delivers. And that is the story of Muhammad bin Qasim, the young conqueror who won not just lands, but hearts. Did you find this story inspiring? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Historic Heroes for more stories of bravery and wisdom. Let us know in the comments which historic figure you'd like us to cover next. Until next time, stay curious and stay inspired.